Good evening. Okay. So good evening to all of you. We will call this regular board meeting for Wednesday, September 4th, 2024 to order at 5:32 p.m. Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Here.
So all 7 board members are present in person in the boardroom. So before we start the meeting, I do want to acknowledge our student performers, both our Palmer High School student who performed and our Coronado Theater performers too. So could you please come forward? And Ms. Ambrose, are your students here too?
They had to go to Powder Puff and maid prep.
Well, they got their priorities right, so. But thank you for that performance. That was amazing watching our students perform, and you had this entire audience captivated and enthralled out there. So Ms. Ambrose, would you take a minute and share a little bit more about your Coronado Theater program? I know that you shared some for the audience, but for the people that are watching at home to talk a little bit about your program and what's coming up.
Sure. I don't know if they need to hear me.
I think he's going.
I'm sure you
I can, but they can hear me. So I've had the pleasure of working at Coronado High School for the last 11 years. Our program began with 1 theater class and 4 English classes, and now I've grown to 6 theater classes. And we teach everything from beginning drama through technical theater, advanced acting, improv, page to stage makeup, and stagecraft. Sorry, I was like, what was my last class? At Coronado, we have a wonderful group of students that are willing to step out on a limb and try something new, which is really what makes our program work. In addition to that, we have the most supportive administration and teaching staff that really helps to support us, both in the performing arts as well as across the board through STEAM, through core classes, and through extracurricular events. What I love about Coronado is that there are so many opportunities for students that there's often not enough students to go around for all of the opportunities that we have to offer. At Coronado, we offer 2 main stage productions per year, a musical and a straight play every other year, in addition to 1 acts, a thriving thespian club, and competitions. Last year, our advanced acting class won first place at the Pikes Peak Regional 1 act competition, and our techies scored a superior at Allstate for their thespian work as well in stage design. So through our program at Coronado, we are completely student-led and student-designed, which means that when you come and see a show at Coronado, it's been designed, built, and run by students. I show up, direct, look pretty, go home, and that's about it. But they really fill in all of those other gaps for us. And it's something that is really wonderful because it truly is, when you walk into a Coronado production, you know what they are doing and you know what they are learning. I have students that have gone on to pursue theater in after college, some of whom are on to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, are designing makeup, are coming back to the Springs as stage managers, are doing lighting design, stage management at the University of Northern Colorado, as well as professional artists in the community. Some are doing interior design and really using those skills that they learned through theater to make them successful in contributing humans, not just successful in contributing theater artists. So we just thank you so much for your attention this evening. As Kim said, we have had about 4, I think 5 at this point, improv classes. So a lot of the students have never performed anything like that before and got very minimal practice, but that's the thing about improv, that's the thing about teaching, and that's the thing about life. You get presented with a problem and you say yes and go forward. So thank you so much for that opportunity this evening.
Yep. Yeah, please do.
Awesome. Hello, friends. Long time no see. My name is Kaylin Ward. I'm the band director at Palmer High School. I'm going to keep it very brief and just kind of talk more about Eva. I would be very selfish, and the program would be very selfish to take any credit for Eva. Eva's a freshman, so she came to us this way. We're very lucky, we're very blessed that she chose to grow with Palmer and to grow with our program. But overall, in the short time that we've had her, there's a whole lot of leadership that just her playing has inspired my other players around her. Not just specific to her section, but kind of like my students like to keep tabs on upcoming freshmen coming to the band program as far as like talent and just like knowing when we have our recruitment events, like, oh, that person's really good, they're gonna be here, whatever. So there was already a really decent amount of excitement around Eva coming to Palmer. And so it's been cool to see them kind of like, it's been cool to see them bring her in as far as just like new opportunities and new experiences that she has that they can experience. So overall, thanks again for having us here. And Eva's awesome, so give it up for Eva.
And as we get back on agenda, I do want to introduce our new Director of Visual and Performing Arts, Ms. Kim Kincaid, also coming from Coronado High School after many years of successful programming. Thank you, Kim, for the efforts here tonight as well. Yes, thanks.
So just for the audience, before every board meeting, we will have visual and performing art students performing out here. So if you happen to be here in the boardroom before the board meeting, catch one of these performances. And I strongly encourage to go and visit our schools and go and attend one of those events. I think last spring, I was at the Coronado production of Chicago, the musical. It was amazing. The talent that you see on stage, the students dancing and singing and memorizing all those lines, and the enjoyment that they get out of it. You see the experience that our students get through this VAPA program. So I strongly encourage you to go and attend one of our theater programs. So thank you for our students. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, the moment of silence. Earlier today, there was a news report about a high school shooting in Georgia and potential casualties. As my fellow board members would attest, that is the worst nightmare for any school board or superintendent. We take the safety of our students and staff on our campuses with utmost seriousness. As a point of emphasis, I urge the community to share with concerned authorities anything that could be a potential threat to our school community so we could proactively address it. As we move into this moment of silence, I want to keep the families impacted by today's incident in Georgia in our thoughts. Thank you. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Director Bankus, can you please make the motion to adopt the agenda?
I move that that the Board of Education adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Bakley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpagham?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The agenda was adopted as presented. We are going to have the Palmer High School freshman Ava Thomas Tapitki. She's going to lead us in the Pledge of... How do you say it? Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Thank you, Eva. The next item on the agenda is awards and recognition. Superintendent Gall, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, it's been a busy summer, and
District 11. The Colorado Springs School District 11 has been all over the country receiving awards and recognition for really what amounts to probably the best CTE program in the state in Mass. And you're going to get to see some of those examples tonight, both by students and by staff. And so I appreciate everybody for piling all the way in the hallway. We think we have a system, so we're going to give it a try here. Go ahead, Melissa.
Career and Technical Education, CTE, and District 11 provides students with valuable experiences beyond the classroom, including opportunities to travel, compete, and learn in new environments. This summer, District 11 students participated in various national conferences across the country. The first group to be recognized is Future Business Leaders, FBLA of America, 2024 National Competitor. Under the leadership team of Kristen Klingerman, Christina North, and Conrad Parsons, and with the guidance of Holmes Middle School FBLA sponsor Karen Kelling, 15 Future Business Leaders of America students from Jenkins and Holmes Middle Schools and Doherty High School achieved remarkable success. By placing first and second in the state competition, these students qualified to compete at the National Leadership Conference held from June 24th through 27th in Orlando, Florida. They also attended workshops designed to enhance their leadership skills, communication abilities, and business knowledge. We are incredibly proud of their achievements and the dedication they have shown in their journey.
Yes, we actually have students prepared. First off, we will have Sylvia Pato, who is a sophomore at Doherty, and she started FBLA with us at Jenkins, and so she's going to talk about her experience first.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia, and like she said, I'm a sophomore at Doherty High School. I've been involved, this is my 4th year in FBLA, and I've attended 3 national conferences, including the one this previous summer in Orlando, Florida. I really love the program of FBLA, and I'm very thankful that our district helps support us and make it possible that we get to go during the summer, because I talked to students while I was there competing, and they had to pay a small fortune out of pocket just to go, and our district covered it, so I'm very thankful. But it's a really great opportunity, and I got to attend workshops, including a workshop with the Wisconsin Publishing Company, which publishes many of the books that authors in Wisconsin produce, so it's a great entrepreneurship business model, and it was just a really great experience, and I'm very thankful I got to go.
Next, we have McKenna Trahan, who's going to speak about her experience.
Thank you. Hi, my name is McKenna Trahan. I am a student over at Jenkins Middle School. I participated in nationals the last 2 years. I've been able to participate. The first year I qualified for the economics test. I got first place at state, and last year I got second in marketing. I think FBLA is such a great opportunity just to kind of be able to experience the business world just as a middle schooler. I think it just kind of gives you that kind of confidence for when you get into to be an adult. I truly love FBLA because you get to meet so many people, and just especially from people in different states. You talk about what it's like there and compare it to how it is here. I know that as Sylvia said, I met so many people at like nationals that had to pay so much money just to get to go, and our state completely covered it, or our district completely covered it, for us to be able not only just go to nationals, but to be able to do so many activities there. And I just think it's so worth it, and I've learned so much from just being in FBLA these last few years, and I hope I can learn more as keep going.
Okay, thanks. One more round of applause for FBLA. Thank you. As we're calling these groups forward, so the next group is the FCCLA group. So as Melissa Olson starts reading, just kind of line up. We'll do the handouts. And for the audience members, we talk a lot in District 11 about finding your excellence through experience and about introducing peak experiences. These are examples. What District 11 does differently than other districts is we pay for students to be able to travel and participate in these competitions. The opportunity to have access to this experience shouldn't be limited by your zip code or by your bank ledger. That's on us to be able to provide the learning opportunities that you're hearing from our students today.
Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, FCCLA, under the leadership of Andrea Aragon, Annie Friesma, Kelly Gauck, Brittany Hardy, and Rachel Holm, a remarkable group of students from Coronado, Odyssey, Palmer, and Holmes Middle School attended the FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Seattle, Washington. This event brought together over 8,000 participants, including 26 of our students. Among them, 7 out of 10 high school students and 6 middle schoolers achieved top 10 placements in their events, with 1 middle school team earning the prestigious honor of winning nationals. Additionally, Kimberly Garces from Odyssey Echo proudly served as a new Colorado State officer. Beyond their competitions, all students engaged in workshops, networked with peers, and enjoyed exploring Seattle's iconic Pike Place Market, the Space Needle, and a Seattle Mariners game.
Round of applause.
Hi, everyone. Am I on? Awesome. Well, I'm Kelly Gauck, and I have the pleasure of teaching middle school at Holmes Middle School. And I've been doing this for 13 years, and what I see is blossom children that turn into young adults that are ready for life and ready for high school for sure. But we had a really great pleasure, and I'm going to pass this microphone over to one of our 2-time national top 10 qualifiers and top 10, award winners. And this is Lainey Bushman.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lainey Bushman. I'm a third-year member of FCCLA. And like Ms. Gauck said, a 2-year competitor at the National Leadership Conference. I've been so blessed to have these opportunities, and I truly wouldn't be able to be here without Ms. Gauck and her true dedication to this club. And I'm just truly so thankful for everyone that's helped me out along the way. And FCCLA has truly been one of the best things that's ever happened to me, with meeting people and just being better at public speaking. And just truly just meeting as many people as you can, creating memories. And last year last summer pretty much, we went to Seattle, Washington. And one of my favorite parts about Seattle, Washington was probably the Space Needle. It was so cool. And yeah.
That's it? That was the one speaker? Okay, that's it. Thanks for FCCLA. Wait, one more. Sorry. I think he's declined, but Ava's going to take a shot at it. Here we go. Never give a Friesma the microphone. You'll never get it back again.
Hi, guys. My name is Ava Friesma. This will be my 4th year in FCCLA. I've gone to Nationals 3 times and a top 10 qualifier. Nationals is so amazing. It's such an amazing experience. Like FCCLA, you build so many leadership qualities, and like Ms. Gauck said, it just prepares you for life and what life brings. Yeah, it's just a great experience, and you get to meet so many people, like they've said, and yeah.
There we go. Thanks, everybody. All right, the next group is HOSA. Nathaniel, I know you're here. I saw you in the hallway. Here he comes.
Health Occupations Students of America, HOSA. Under the leadership of Jacqueline Roberson and Mike Hagan, Palmer High School students Malia Tenjenko and Natalie Muro achieved outstanding success by qualifying in the top 3 places at the Colorado State Leadership Conference, earning their spot at the prestigious HOSA International Leadership Conference in Dallas, Texas. Competing in the field of forensic science, these students were part of an impressive event that saw 11,365 competitors, featured 92 health-related competitive events, and offered 145 workshops. Additionally, they had the unique opportunity to network with HOSA Hall of Famers as well as future and current health professionals. We are incredibly proud of their achievements and the dedication they demonstrated on this national stage.
Good evening, everybody. I am not Mike Hagan or Jacqueline Roberson. My name is Nathaniel Lohman. I'm another science teacher at Palmer High School. And it is my absolute pleasure and joy to be like their substitute teacher sponsor. And I got to bask in their awesomeness for a week in Houston at the International HOSA Leadership Conference. And I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about their experience.
Hello, my name is Natalie Miro, and this is Malia Tantanko, and we are both juniors at Palmer High School. And this year we got to compete at the International Leadership Conference, which was in Houston, and we got to compete in forensic science. And we're so thankful to the Palmer Science Department who really supported our endeavors this year, and to Mr. Lohman, because when our teacher, Ms. Roberson, had other commitments, he stepped up so that we could go compete in Houston. So thank you.
You want to say anything? You're good. And although the district likes to take credit for making sure we pay all the time, where's Mom? Where's Natalie's mom? For sending the email that reminded us that we need to make sure that we're sending teachers along with students and not just sending students off into Neverland. So thank you for reminding us. Thank you. Then our next group is the ITSE group, ISTE.
International Society for Technology and Education. Do you want me to
I think we're here.
go for
Are
it?
we coming forward? Come on forward. Thanks.
Under the leadership of Sean Wybrandt and Sherry Wybrandt, Palmer High School students were invited by Innovation Education Colorado to present their innovative work on real-time satellite visualization, museum digitization, and the launch of their school-based enterprise, the STEAM Factory, an on-demand print shop located within Palmer High School, at the International Society for Technology and Education Conference. Following their successful presentation, the National Network of State Teachers of the Year requested that they also present at the National Teacher Leadership Conference. Both events garnered compliments for their professionalism and the high quality of their work, and the students provided valuable instruction on how to use the equipment. We commend these students for their outstanding achievements and their contribution to advancing educational technology.
We'll get you a certificate. And we missed a certificate for Joe. Joe, what's your last name? Vasquez. We'll make sure we clean that up. I think Lily's going to speak on everyone's behalf. Joe, there we go. Even better. Sit on down. If I could have just gotten a certificate.
Hello. My name is Joe. I was the president of Work-Based Learning. Yeah, we do cool space stuff and digitization stuff, and we got to work with this company based here in town called BlueStacks. They track real-time satellites, and they have their data, and so these guys are able to develop software that tracks satellites and were able to show us where they were in real time. We also worked with the Pioneers Museum before they closed down for renovations to digitize their space and digitize their artifacts using tools that we acquired from the U.S. Navy. We also teach students about business and how to go about producing, selling, and being responsible with, the power that comes with owning a business.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Okay, and now we'll trade out to Skills USA. We're almost there, folks. Thanks.
Doherty High School Skills USA. Under the leadership of Dwayne Roberson, Jeff Newmeyer, and Taylor Bedeau, Doherty High School students Evelyn X and Wyatt Buckmiller achieved remarkable success in the Skills USA state competition for additive manufacturing last spring, taking first place. This victory earned them an invitation to compete in the Skills USA national competition held in Atlanta this past June, which featured over 6,500 attendees and 114 competitions. During nationals, Evelyn and Wyatt not only won the Mini Design Challenge, but also placed 13th in the nation in additive manufacturing. Their journey through the Skills USA competition circuit in 2023-2024 demonstrated their tremendous leadership and engineering skills. We are incredibly proud of these outstanding Doherty students.
Awesome.
So hi everybody, my name is Evelyn X. I'm a junior at Doherty High School and I'm here representing Skills USA with my partner Wyatt. And Skills USA is a workforce development organization with over 413,000 students organizers, and educators with over 150 different competitions. My partner Wyatt and I competed in additive manufacturing, which is where we'll take a 3D modeling computer software and we model parts and pieces and things that they tell us to, and we send it to a 3D printer and they print it for us. And it's a way that we can build new products and model them before they're even made, so we can catch problems in a whole product before we manufacture it and it's broken. We would like to thank Dwayne Roberson, Julie Halfpop, and Lynn Contreras for helping us sponsor this, and all the sponsoring that we got from the board and all the support that I got from my teachers. Mr. Newmeyer and Mr. Bedeau and Mr. Newmeyer have taught us everything we know about engineering and additive manufacturing. And Mr. and Mrs. Newmeyer have brought us to Atlanta, which was super amazing that they were able to come with us. So thank you to the board and to my teachers.
Wyatt, no wait, Wyatt doesn't get, Wyatt, do you agree with all that? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have one more award and recognition for our early childhood ed. Go ahead, Melissa.
The Colorado Department of Education has recognized the Early Childhood Education Department for promising practices in family, school, and community partnerships. This award reflects CDE's recognition of the robust support in early entry points this department provides to families. ECE Community Liaison Angela Boucher is steadfast in her work to identify access barriers for families and then to create systems of support that reduce or remove these challenges. And ECE Child Find Coordinator Anna Yoakum, thank you, leads her team from a family-centered perspective and continues to drive positive system changes to improve the student and family experiences in D11. Recognition and appreciation are also extended to the Director of Early Childhood Education, Sarah Carlson, for her excellent leadership.
Awesome. Round of applause. We made a seamless transition from students to staff, so thank you for your support in bringing in new students. Angela, anything to share?
Absolutely. This award is just a testament of the dedication of our entire office, our team at the Early Childhood Office. Together we're making meaningful and powerful impact on the lives of District 11's earliest students and their parents. And this is just a reflection of our whole team, of a shared effort and our collective success.
So I'm Anna Yoakum, I'm the Child Find Coordinator. We are just passionate across our early childhood office, every single one of us, about just increasing access for families, breaking down those barriers, and really empowering families to be active participants from that very earliest entry point in preschool.
Can you describe what Child Find is so we haven't lost them?
Yes, that's true. And that is one of the barriers we need to break down is what is Child Find. So we complete early childhood special education evaluations from children 3 to 5. There are supports out there for children birth to 3, but we really want to reach those families who might have concerns about their child's development. Whether it's your own child, a foster child, a grandchild, a neighbor, we are here to support those families and provide services.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that's it for tonight's awards and recognitions.
So congratulations to all the students and staff members too. It's so good to see that our students are still active over the summer break and they are learning, competing, and winning awards. So that's good to see, and it's great to recognize them at the board meeting today. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, it's the spotlight, and it's the program spotlight on teacher cadets and partnerships. Superintendent Gall.
Yeah, I had the good fortune about 3 weeks ago in hosting a meeting where I was able to bring in a cross-functional group, of which Annie's coming forward here to get ready to make the presentation. But we realized that we have multiple parts of our organization actually working on our own potential workforce development. One of our strongest areas in workforce development has really been in investing in teachers. And Melissa has come forward as well, so I appreciate that. And so I thought it would be good for the board and the community to hear how District 11 is thinking about giving kids access to workforce, and what are we best at? We're a learned institution. We know teaching and learning, so why not make one of the strongest veins for that to be, how do we create interest in our own student population to perhaps become employees and future teachers within District 11? So over to you, Annie.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Gall and Board of Education members. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present the collaborative work and the opportunities that the Future Educator Pathway provides our students in District 11 through Teacher Cadet and Early Childhood Education programming, which are both college-level courses in our high schools. My name is Annie Friesman. I'm the Education Pathway Coordinator. My work connects career and technical education, concurrent enrollment, and work-based learning. Tonight, my presentation will focus on the high school future educator pathway. Give me a second.
Turn it on the side. We'll advance it for you. We'll reload it and advance
That's
it for
fine.
you. Just start talking while the slides
Okay.
comes up.
So, though today I'm presenting mainly on the Future Educator Pathway program for high school students, it's important to emphasize how District 11 is moving towards a team approach to addressing a critical issue both locally and nationwide, the teacher shortage. By collaborating in this way, our team shares our knowledge and experiences, to improve our collective efforts to recruit and retain qualified teachers. As you can see in the blue circle, the high school future educator pathway programs, we recruit high school students right in our schools to become teachers. The adult and family education bubble, it's the purple one, it brings adults into the field of education through they offer a CDA program, which is the Child Development Associates Certificate. Professional development in District 11, their office provides vital training for both new and experienced teachers, and our talent management team, along with early childhood education team and career and technical education directors, are all focused on finding and hiring the best teachers available. Like our talent management team says, hire best, hire first, and hire fast. Not only is District 11 adopting a collaborative team of teams approach to address the issue, one back, thank you. But this model has also expanded to include our post-secondary and industry partners. So all of us together, we're collaborating and working here in town to address the teacher shortage, working together to help future educators find their path towards the teaching profession. Tonight, I've invited 2 students from the pathway to share their journeys with you. One student is on the kindergarten through 12th grade path, while the other is on the early childhood education path. And early childhood education certifies students to teach children ages 0 to age 8. Please join me in welcoming our first student, Teacher Cadet Angela Vest.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Vest. I'm currently a senior at Coronado High School. I took Teacher Cadet 1 last year. I was at Doherty High School last year with Miss Friesma. My internship experience, the second semester, I had tons of fun. There was a lot of work involved, but I enjoyed the time spending with the kids, getting to know more about the teachers and their lives outside and inside of work. I enrolled in this course to learn more about teaching, to see if it was the career path for me. My father is a teacher at Man Middle School at the moment, and I look up to him a lot, and someday I want to become a teacher just like him. One of the experiences outside of the classroom that we did with Teacher Cadet 1 is we went to UNC. And at UNC, one of the experiences that spoke out to me most was the day we got there, we were in small groups. And one of the girls in the small group, she just was so passionate about teaching the way I've never seen anyone so passionate before. And it just encouraged me to want to teach as much as she did, which is another part I'm very passionate about, like teaching and following through with this degree. Last semester, my internship, I went to Grant Elementary in Mr. Sanderson's class, 5th grade class. And during CMAS, got the opportunity to also observe in the 3rd and 2nd grade class, which was great. My 2024 semester experience taught me a lot about what teachers' schedules look like inside and outside of work, and how much they care for their students altogether. After interning at elementary school and learning about what it is to be a kindergarten through 5th grade teacher, I joined Teacher Cadet 2 this year to sample what middle school is like. Currently this semester, I am in Teacher Cadet 2. I'm interning at Holmes with Miss Gawk in her 7th grade culinary class, which is what the pictures show. I'm looking forward to the T-Rep program to help pay for something that I'm very passionate about already. It will help me to accomplish my goal faster with the financial support of the district and with the degree. This allows me to fully focus on school instead of balancing like jobs and school at the same time. Future plans after my whole teacher experience, which I'm looking forward to. I plan on going to UCCS with the T-Rep scholarship to pursue a teaching career that I'm already super passionate about. And hopefully I will return to D11 with a teacher's license to teach elementary or middle school. Thank you for your time.
She's hired.
Right?
It was a great interview.
I agreed. Okay, next I would like to welcome up a Mitchell High School graduate, sort of. She's in the T-Rep program, so she's not officially graduated, but she did walk with her class last year, and she'll tell you more about being in the T-Rep program at UCCS. But I'd like to welcome up Ebony Odom. Ebony was dual enrolled, Mitchell student, dual enrolled in career pathways at Odyssey. So she came over and took early childhood education. So welcome, Ebony.
Hi, my name is Ebony Odom. My experience in the early child education program, I would say, is great. It's a heartwarming experience. Its diversity and flexibility towards helping the children and making everyday impacts is inspiring. So far, I've made strong connections and was even told by a little girl I taught I was like a big sister she had already had. I enrolled in this course because I want to be an educator. Not just that, but a role model to others like the way my teachers were for me. Many people would ask me why teaching. I chose this path to make a difference and to make a lasting impact on children in their future. What I've learned so far from others, that everyone teaches differently. People have their own unique ways of teaching. I also learned that there are many other ways to help with a child's development. One way is showing them that you care by listening and communicating with them. Towards the end of my senior year of high school, I started my internship for 2nd grade at Wilson Elementary. My teacher, her name was Miss Talamontes. She cares a lot for her students. My first day in the internship, I was nervous. I thought the kids wouldn't like me, but they were also welcoming. I remember calling my mom and telling her how much I enjoyed working with the kids, and that made me sure that I wanted to teach. My internship made me really realize that teaching made me happy. It became a passion. Working at my internship taught me patience to learn new things. I also learned that every child has different needs. I was able to build strong connections with the kids. After I graduated, I connected with joint initiatives. I had received phone calls from Mel and Kelsey, and I mentioned that I wanted to find a job working with children. They got in touch with Whisper at Unique Play Place, and they helped me with my resume and gave me helpful advice. I'm a lead teacher at Unique Play Place, and I love it there, and the children are great to be around, and my coworkers are great. My boss, Whisper, is really supporting and cares about my schooling. I'm able to get my school done because it's not just a daycare, but also a work center, where one area you can get your work done and the other side is a daycare. At Unique Play Place, the time working there, I set up my classroom, built a schedule for the kids. It's a good experience working there, and I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity. I began my teaching at UCCS, and I'm in a program called T-REP. It's a teacher recruitment education preparation program and gives you 2 free years for college to pursue teaching. TREP covers all of my schooling, and it's a relief to not have to worry about using my own money. My future plans after college: I want to continue the rest of my college and earn my bachelor's degree so I can continue and work in schools. And that is all.
Okay, thank you, Ebony. Next, I just kind of want to talk about the pathway in general. So as you can see, in 22-23 school year, the pathway started with only 15 students in it, and it was offered at Coronado and Odyssey Career Pathways. Then in 23-24, Doherty High School reinstated their teacher cadet program, which brought our numbers up to 43 students enrolled in the pathway. This year, Palmer High School is offering its first education class taught by a Colorado College professor, which brought our numbers up now to 62 students in the future educator pathway. So speaking of Palmer High School and Colorado College, I would like to welcome up Dr. Tina Belterra and Dr. Emily Chan.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here this evening. I am Dr. Tina Belterra. I'm the Chair of Education at Colorado College. My colleague, Dr. Emily Chan, had to head out and be somewhere by 6, so she apologizes. This has been a really just perfect timing as we were looking at the UPK and then workforce investment. And at the same time, Dean Chan said to me, oh, we're starting a partnership. We're going to start piloting concurrent enrollment with D11. It was like, well, why don't we just mix all those together? And so we are just thrilled. I think, it's the first year, so there's a few scheduling kind of kinks and things that we're working through, but I think we've been mutually able to give each other grace and communicate really well and get through those pieces. We're thrilled to have one of our professors teaching Tuesdays and Thursdays at Palmer High School. I got to say hello to them on the first day and said, you're also a Colorado College student now. And so we're really glad to have you as part of our community. And also just want to say thank you. Our department, which we are small, but we send probably about 200 students into D11 every year to learn about education and several student teachers. So we are excited to continue to partner and do what we can to recruit and retain the best teachers possible in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Belterra, for coming tonight and also for your support and willing to take on something new. Try something new in District 11. So beyond the classroom, students have peak experiences with the Future Educator Pathway With FCCLA, students have educated-related events where they write lessons, they develop professional teaching portfolios, and they can compete at the district, state, and national levels. Students participate in internships. So both the classes, Teacher Cadet and Early Childhood, students will be placed in a classroom for 35 to 60 hours to really experience the profession. You can kind of see the growth of the internships. Last year, I placed 38 students in 24 different D11 schools and 1 community partnership school. And this year, we're gonna have even more placements. We do have 5 Teacher Cadet 2s that are going out and that are getting paid this year to work in our classrooms. Down below those pictures, we take our kids out of the classrooms to colleges and universities. UCCS hosts a featured teacher day for us. We also went to the 2-day event at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley. Kids got to spend the night in a dorm and learn all about the teaching profession, which was really cool. As the TREP program, as Ebony mentioned, is only in its 2nd year. It is a statewide initiative created by Senate Bill 21-185 to, let me get this on, I was gonna say 185, to help students really achieve their dream of going to college. So it pays for the first 2 years of college education. Districts can choose to participate in this program, and I'm so glad that District 11 chose to participate. It said yes. In 23-24, we only had 4 students in this program, and they all attended Pikes Peak State College. This last year, we created partnerships with UCCS and CSU Pueblo. So starting those partnerships, in addition to the increase in enrollment in the program, we're up to now 14 students that are on the TREP scholarship. 6 are at UCCS, you can see 7 at Pikes Peak State, and 1 attending CSU Pueblo. So this means we're not only covering the cost of college classes students take in high school through just our traditional concurrent enrollment, but we're also funding their first 2 years of college through the TREP program for all of our future teachers and school counselors. So in addition to the TREP program, all future teachers have access to different scholarships, grants, cash awards, mentorships to these programs listed up here. Even job placement, as Ebony mentioned, joint initiatives will help them find jobs. This is all to prepare them for careers in education, which ideally we hope will lead them back to D11 early childhood education or D11 in general for careers. So before we move on to any questions, I just wanted to give a shout out to the principals and mentor teachers of the schools shown here that participated and hosted an intern last school year, so our 24 schools, and let them know that I will be reaching out to them shortly to see if they want to host another one this school year. So thank you, and any questions?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. It's good to see that we are developing that pipeline where our students can step into and become future teachers, especially considering the teacher shortage that we have in this day and age. Board, any feedback, comments? I don't see any. Thank you for the presentation. Superintendent Gall, you have any closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just, it would go back to the graph of the way we've kind of tripled the amount here and the way we've done it. Can we go back a couple of slides? Right there. And so the important part here is not just that we're creating more access points for kids, is that you're starting to see all schools see that there is opportunity and benefit. And that it doesn't work the same way for every school. And so I love the fact that the way Palmer did it was with an early education relationship with Colorado College. What's the advantage if you're a parent going to Palmer High School? You're across the street from Colorado College. Maybe that's a disadvantage. I'm not sure what people's interests are. But if you want your kid to get exposure to one of the premier liberal arts schools in the country, I used to say west of the Mississippi, but now I'll call it in the country, you can do that really at any of our schools. But if you really want to get a credit on your credentials, on your resume, on your transcript, come to Palmer High School and go take an early childhood education class. And just think about that. What people don't know is the city is dealing with 16,000 seat need for early education and daycare across the city. And so although this is only 62 students in a cadet program, if we can do 62 and the neighboring districts can all get to 100, and so now there's 300 or 400 kids all entering into education as a pipeline and a pathway to a career, and then they can be working in some daycare centers while they're going through TREP or going through SENT and going through some of the other programs that exist out there. It's just a tremendous opportunity for the power of the city to come together and not just look for one institution to solve it by itself. And that's really what's happening here. Workforce development, Melissa, and the work that you're doing is bringing the city together and not just one waiting for the other. And that's really what District 11 has been about, of not thinking about it singularly in a silo, but now this is cross-disciplinary work. And the way that we've been able to do that in short time deserves the recognition you got today. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent Gall, it's back to you with your superintendent's report.
Great. Excited to start off again today with a couple of student shout out for teachers. So if Angela Vest and Ebony Odom can come up, you come up to my chair up here and you get to talk in here and tell everybody what you want to tell them. So come on up. I know Ebony's still here. Come on. Come on. Right up here. Come up to where I'm sitting and you get to sit in my chair.
Come on up.
You're first, Angela. Come up around here, all the way around. You're superintendent for the day. And the microphone's on, so just bend it down how you need it there.
Oh, okay.
Sure, you want to stand up for Dave since... Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Callback. I don't think I would have gotten through chemistry without him. He's been such a great teacher my sophomore year, and beyond that, just getting to pop into class and say hi whenever I needed. He has always made class really fun, which I strive to do when I'm a teacher, but he also is able to keep us engaged in what we're learning. And sorry guys, brain fart. Just as a teacher, I want to be able to make the class fun and make the kids enjoy what they're learning instead of sitting there and listening to lectures, or no one really likes to sit there and listen to lectures, right? And Callback has done that. He's done what I strive to be, is just a fun teacher. So thank you.
Great. Awesome. Did he take in that glider there too, or not? No. Ebony, you're next. What's that? Yeah, it's great that you wrote it down. You'll get every word just perfect.
The teacher I would like to give a shout out to would be my early childhood education teacher. Her name is Dr. Hardy. She helped me realize that it's okay to not know everything. She would check in on me and would always tell me I was doing a good job. She made teaching an experience to love and not to stress over. Even though I was a quiet kid, she made me feel included. I liked how she would engage with the students and her lessons, and she had creativity with it. She would always make her work understanding to us. She used a lot of strategies, and she even helped me plan a lesson for my internship, which really helped me. She told me that it didn't matter if I was a shy person. We need more teachers like Dr. Hardy. She's hardworking and caring, and we need teachers that are willing to help a child even when they're behind. And we need teachers with patience. Teaching isn't just a job, teaching is our future.
Thank you.
You want to give her a handshake or a friendly hug on the way out?
Mr. Callback, you can come here.
Sherry, you want to come take a recognition?
Here.
Oh, you are here.
Yeah?
I didn't see you. I'm sorry, Dave. Come on in. Give a good handshake to... I'm going to go back a slide. I got to ask Dave. Dave, are you checked out in the ASK 21?
No, the real pilot sat behind me.
Oh, real pilot.
I'm trying not to actually inside.
You don't text and fly. There are old pilots and there are bold pilots, but there are no old, bold pilots. So, great. Okay, continuing on with the superintendent's report. It's super exciting to continue to talk about the incredible progress that's happening in District 11. CMAS results are out. They're still embargoed here for another couple of hours. But the trend of continuing to add into our performance portfolio and decrease those schools that are on the state watch list continues with great intentionality and authority. So hats off to every one of our educators, administrators, and ESP that are in and around the classroom and supporting the Colorado Springs School District 11. Our mission is simple. The number one way to student achievement is access to high quality instruction. The proof is in the pudding. We continue to show it by the numbers. You saw it anecdotally here today for the last nearly hour. The number of student stories that we have to share will last a lifetime, and that's an incredible opportunity for us. So thank you for that. We look forward to digging into those details. And then finally next year getting to a space where we have 0 schools on the state watch list, and then the year after that having 100% of our schools rated as performance or higher. That is what your tax dollar is supposed to guarantee, is that everywhere you go, you get an excellent education. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about our ABCs of the classroom, the integrity of the classroom, attendance, behavior, and then some updates on cell phones. These will be anecdotes. The data that we have is in the first 2 weeks of school, we recorded 394 cell phone incidents. That's not bad out of the 10,000 plus middle school, high school students that we have. Now, I can't tell you if 394 is 50% of what really happened or 30% of what really happened, but we are tracking. But we thought the best way to really talk about this was bring in the people that are in and around this space to be able to share with you what they're seeing. Ray, you want to come forward and talk a little bit about attendance and behavior? And tell everybody what school you're leading now again as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm Ray Cockrell, new principal of Jack Swaggart Middle School. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share my gratitude for the attendance and behavior policies. Wanted to share that when I was coming into Jack Swaggart Middle School as a new leader in the spring, I had the opportunity to hold one-to-ones with returning staff members, and some very clear themes emerged in our conversations. The concerns that staff members shared included concerns about student attendance, and they included a perceived lack of consistency among administrative responses to student behavior. And fast forward a bit to our summer unified improvement planning, and our draft major improvement strategy 2 ended up focusing on setting high expectations characterized by positive student culture and strong supports for academics and behavior. So coming in as a new leader with the new attendance and behavior policies, I was able to institute some systems early on that have supported our teachers in keeping the focus in the classroom on teaching and learning. We've been able to address concerns about that lack of consistency or not closing the feedback loop, what happens after I refer a student for behavior, with our new two-way communication tool in PowerSchool through those referrals. And our attendance dashboard and our attendance tiered supports for students have also empowered our team to re-engage families and absent students. And they've also empowered our team with the data needed to make sure that we're doing the work earlier in the school year, that we can be more proactive instead of reactive in that response. The overall result, again, has been that teachers are able to focus more on teaching and learning in the classroom, while our administrative and student support teams can respond using the systems that we've put in place with the policies that you all brought to us. And as a new leader, those policies really supported me in engaging the staff in training around those systems and getting it rolling from the start. Thank you.
Any questions on attendance and behavior for Principal Cockrell? Great. Thank you. Okay, for the cell phone, we have both students and parents and staff members to be able to talk about what we're seeing. So our first guest speaker tonight is Jonas Friesma. Jonas, come on forward to the microphone there. Well, you've met Jonas earlier today as a award and recognition winner. Tell everybody what school you go to and what you want to share.
All right. Hi, my name is Jonas Friesma. I go to Holmes Middle School, and I'm here to talk about the Yonder Pouches. I think the Yonder Pouches were a great addition to the phone policy, to the iPhone policy, and it helps students like have face-to-face conversations instead of just texting over the phone. And it's also less of a distraction in the classroom, and doing homework too. Like it makes you stay focused, because without the Yonder Pouch, it's such like an easy, it's so easy to access, and it's so tempting to go on your phone. But with these Yonder Pouches, they're really helping students stay on task, and yeah.
What grade are you at Holmes?
Oh, I'm in 8th grade.
Awesome. Where are you going to high school next year?
I'm going to Coronado High School.
Of course you are. Awesome. Thanks. And Malia Tentendoga. I think I messed that mess up. I got Malia right, though. Come on forward. We met Malia earlier, too. You see the way we kind of recycle students here? We're trying to be efficient.
Hello, my name is Malia Tantanko, and I am a junior at William J. Palmer High School, and I am here today to provide a positive student perspective on the newly implemented Yonder Pouches. Yonder Pouches have just been implemented this 2024-2025 school year, and from my perspective, in just these past 3 weeks, they have already had a positive impact on the learning environment. Before Yonder Pouches, I would see students around me being distracted and focused on their phones rather than being attentive to what they are learning. Now, with those distractions being taken away, people around me pay more attention and take on a more active role in the classroom. With a more focused classroom environment, teachers are also better able to maximize class time. The more class focused, the more learning is being done. Along with this, while phones are a useful tool for communication, I've also seen where the screen is used to avoid interactions with others, and we are sucked into our own little technological worlds. During brain breaks in past years, people around me would use it as a time to check their phones. Now, people such as myself are forced to communicate and form bonds with those around us. For me personally, this has helped me to branch out more and take opportunities to put myself out there instead of staying away. This can also help others like me who tend to shy away from socializing. However, while these are all positive changes due to the Yonder Pouches, this is also all from my perspective. While preparing this speech, I also talked with other peers about the experiences with the Yonder Pouches. While some of them have also seen this positive impact, there are also some concerns and parts of the policy that could be worked on. I also agree with a lot of their concerns. If you would like to know more about my own and others' feedback and proposals, please let me know. Thank you.
Send us an email. You can send it to me. I'll share it with the board.
Okay,
Thanks. Kara Stevens, also from Palmer High School.
Like you said, I'm Kara Stevens. I teach science at Palmer High School, and I've been teaching for 27 years. First, thanks for asking for teachers' perspectives on this. I appreciate that a lot. I've tried in the past to tell students to put phones in their bags. And I let them know, I mean, they always want to stick it in their pockets, keep it in their pants pockets, hoodie pockets, whatever. And I try to let them know that brain can only focus on one thing at a time. You might be able to switch really quickly, but it's really only one thing at a time. You're not going to give multiple things your entire attention to learn. One buzz and their brain leaves the lesson, tries to figure out when I'm not looking so they can peek on the phone. If the phone is buzzing 15 times in a class period, which is kind of a low number, then the student's not going to learn much that day. All right, so now the students are far more engaged. I've overheard actual conversations about life and current events. I mean, current events outside of our school walls. I mean, it about floored me. I literally have not heard this for years, many years, and this is phenomenal. Students are participating more, and in the work, in the activities, in group things. I have them interacting. I hear them just automatically interacting without my prompting a whole lot more at appropriate times. I don't have to police them all the time for their phones. I don't have to walk in every day and say at the beginning of every single class period, manage your electronics, no, I mean it, put it away. I'm serious, put it away, that kind of stuff. We may still need to work on the smartwatches a little bit more. They're hard to see. And students still somehow get the earbuds once in a while, but it's a whole lot less. So one of the things that I noticed that I really appreciate, some students, they'll bring a second phone at the high school level. Don't know about the other schools. Or they somehow figure out how to not use the pouch for some reason, but here's the deal. There is no question as to the teacher's role now. There's no wishy-washy to it. It is completely, we take it up, turn it into the office. No more separate rules for separate classrooms. Students can argue about it, can't argue about it anymore. They know what to expect across the board, and that's kind of huge. Yeah. The only issues that I've seen so far is possibly some longer lines at the doors getting in the school, because at Palmer, we have open campus lunch. But I know that that's it's a new system. We're working out the bugs. I know admin is really working hard on those kind of things. The only other issue I've seen is that I'm having to clean the desks a whole lot more. The kids are drawing on them. So I'm like, here, have some paper. So overall, more focused instruction time is happening, which is amazing, and less distraction. So thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kara. To round out the Palmer High School trilogy here, Principal Burke.
Hello, Superintendent Gall, board. Thanks for having me. Perspective on the new Yonder pouches. I'm just going to give little anecdotes that I hear at school. Things from Kara, like they're drawing on desks. I've heard that from more than one teacher. In PE, it used to be 10 to 15 students per block would sit on the edge and not participate, because guess what they were doing? This or Chromebook work. And now 1 to 2, maybe a day, aren't participating. I think that's huge, right? We are working really hard at the door, I will say. Getting students into the habit. The best thing about the Yonder pouch is it has that clear little pocket for their ID. So when they're scanning in, if they have their pouch out with the ID in it, dink, it's one process. But as we know, it takes 31 days or something like that to build a habit, and we are only on day 16 of school. So no, I think it's going really, really well. I appreciate teachers like Kara who have always tried to make the battle, but before I started, even like what Ray said, and I met with individual teachers, it was please give us a district-wide or a school-wide cell phone policy. So we appreciate that you guys put it in place, and that it was very clear for us to have those standard operating procedures so everybody knows what's the deal. So thank you again for letting me speak.
We have a parent speaker who is unfortunately, or actually fortunately, still at the cross-country event. So Nicole is going to just pull a couple of snippets from the letter that she read instead of reading the whole letter.
Thank you. I'll just summarize. This is from Becky Giovanni. I probably said that wrong. She has a 7th grader at Jenkins and a 9th grader at Doherty this year. She said she was happy about the announcement when she heard about it this summer because she had previously heard about Yonder on a podcast. It helped inform her decision to keep her 9th grader in District 11, knowing that this was coming forward. She's already heard from a couple of teachers about the big difference it's made in the classroom environment. She also notes that Jenkins had a cell phone policy in place before, but in the move to Doherty, she's excited that there's a tool like the pouch, because absent of that, it was left up to teachers to police and enforce the rule, prohibiting them from focusing on what they're hired to do in their primary mission, which is teach. So she's been really excited how the Yonder pouch has changed that. It's had a positive impact already on social, emotional, and academic items in her household, and she expects that to continue. And she says she's confident that because of this decision, both her middle school and high school student will have a much more connected, personal, and positive year.
Thank you. Okay, we wanted to do a quick update on where we are with our Promise scholarships. And so we have a whole bunch of folks who are here to support that. If they can all kind of please stand up and make their way to the podium, and then we'll get a chance for you to all introduce yourselves. Valerie, you want to come up with them as well? You know, this started in the end of my first year here. We were approached to kind of replicate some of the work that was happening in a neighboring district on behalf of the Dakota Foundation. And due to the limited dollars that we had available, we started at a single school. And we saw great results in that first school, which was 24 students from a graduating class of about 130 to 150 from Mitchell High School were able to attend Pikes Peak State College on the original Mitchell Promise. Then comes in an increased foundation support through the Brunies. Jerry and Pam, if you want to stand up and be recognized as well. We were able to expand in one quick year to go and make it the D11 Promise. And you can see we went from 24 students at Mitchell to 185 students district-wide, which is a 67% increase in D11 enrollment at Pikes Peak State College in 1 year. And so Lance is not able to be here, but if I could, Valerie, you want to take over here and introduce some folks and tell a little bit more of the story.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I actually would like to start with Krista Wallace because she has been our main point of contact as the coordinator of Promise programs for Pikes Peak State College. And she gets to work most closely with our students and has seen some of the results. So she'll talk a little bit about that as well. Do we want to go to the next slide? Oh,
yes.
Well, actually, I'd like you to introduce your folks that you brought with you, and then we can go to the next slide.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, I'm Krista Wallace, the coordinator of the Promise program, also Pikes Peak State College alum and a D11 alum as well, so full circle for me. My team here from Pikes Peak State College, we've got Miss Jackie Gators Jordan, we have Allison Cortez and Donna Nelson, some executive leadership folks here to help kind of represent all of Pikes Peak. They all have some sort of part in all of this to make it happen.
All right, thanks. So as mentioned, we saw this huge increase, and really it has just sent the message to our students that we believe in you. Thank you so much for that and the difference that it's making. When I think about our students, and we have shown them a path and said, we believe in you, and they build their own sense of agency, like I have control in my life and I can do this, we can see amazing things happening. And one of those, if you remember maybe from the press release that we had, Alyssa was here and spoke, and now she's continuing her journey. Krista's had most recent contact with her. I don't know if you want to speak to her experience for a minute.
Yeah. Alyssa Fresquez was here in the room to talk about her time as a Mitchell Promise student. She did concurrent enrollment, so she actually had 1 whole year completed already. So she was at Pikes Peak for 1 whole year before she finished being the first D11 Promise program graduate. She transferred to UCCS. She started just last week, and she, with the help of my assistants, we got her through to apply for scholarships at UCCS, and she got a full ride scholarship with the Reicher Scholars Program as well. So she's continuing her education for criminal justice.
Awesome. Jerry or Pam, would you like to address the board at all? Up to the podium. You're going to have to say a word or two because I asked you to.
We're very pleased to be a part of this. It warms our hearts to see students be able to pursue their goals and to achieve self-sufficiency and contribution to the community. So we're very happy with that.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you.
Coins all the way around. Thanks. In our fast pace to get to next slide, both Melissa and I went next slide. And so the big surprise tonight for everybody who came in was our chance to show off the D11 Delish food truck. As Dwayne, are you here? Dwayne, where are you? Did Dwayne step out? So just in short, Andrea Aragon, I went into her classroom at Doherty High School 2.5 years ago, and I asked the kids what would make your CTE experience in food and culinary arts even better. And they said, how about if we had a food truck that we could run? And I said, okay, we're going to get you a food truck. And although things take a long time in bureaucracies in public education, out front is the graphic design of the food truck that we have. It's outfitted, it's ready, but it's on the students now. We're going to build that program. The students are going to come up with the menu, they're going to come up with the budget, they're going to come up with the schedule, and they're going to be running that whole thing for us. And so at a future date coming soon, our chance to eat dinner at the D11-ish, Delish food truck. So thank you for that, and I think that's all I've got. Is that my last slide? Yes, thank you. Back to you, President Milbacher.
Thank you. At least I think Director Art and I got an opportunity to visit that truck, which was parked right outside when we came earlier this evening. It is a school activity bus that has been retrofitted now into food truck out there. It's amazing, and my understanding is it's going to be operational in about a month or so, sometime in October. We look forward to the food being delivered out there, even for a board meeting. So, and I want to thank the Brunies. I've had an opportunity to visit with both of you, and something like this, a magical program like the D11 Promise, extending to our students and providing them this opportunity would not be possible without generous contribution from external stakeholders such as yourself and the Dakota Foundation. So thank you. Appreciate you being here and what you do for our students. That's a legacy that you are leaving behind for so many of our students that are going to appreciate what you do. Thank you. And it's good to also hear some of the feedback about the ABC policies from our students and faculty out there. And I've had an opportunity to visit a few schools, open houses, and that's the feedback I received too. Overwhelmingly, our staff are appreciative, and seeing the student engagement in our schools, that's good to see. Board, any comments or feedback on what Superintendent Gall shared? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, it's public comments. Ms. Olson, we do have public comments, right? Okay. So, these are a couple of students, and Ms. Leisure is also here from North Middle School. I'm not going to go over the board protocol for public comments. These students and Ms. Leisure has been here before. Since you are coming as a group together to make this comment, you have a total of 5 minutes to make that comment, and Ms. Olson will display the clock. And let me introduce you, Ms. Stephanie Leisure, who's the principal at North Middle School, and then we have Sophia Villamark and Julia Moreau. Come on over. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to let these lovely ladies start.
Hi, my name is Sophia Villamark. I'm an 8th grader over at North Middle School, and we are here to speak to you guys about the 100-year anniversary of North Middle School. So as many of you may or may not know, our school turns 100 this year, and we are on the planning committee for the 100-year event. So we have been doing lots of research in the past weeks about all of our archives and all of the major things that have happened in our school's history. We've also been doing interviews with past students, principals, and even teachers that have been at our school for over 20 years. So we've just been doing a lot of work with the 100-year anniversary and getting it to where it needs to be right now.
Like she said, we've been interviewing a bunch of people, and I got to interview my grandmother, and I got to learn a lot of stuff that I didn't know about her, such as that she was on the cheer team in 9th grade, and that the school looked so much different, and it was just so amazing to be able to talk to these people who went to the same school I go to and see how they thought it was different or how it stayed the same. At the event, which is September 24th from 5:30 to 7:30, we will have games, food trucks, and some events outside and tours of the school.
Each room will be dedicated to a different decade of history, so we're going to be leading a tour around the building. So it'll go all the way from 20s all the way to the 2020s. So it's going to be a lot of different periods of time and lots of different events going on, and it should be a pretty fun event. That's all. Thank you so much for your time.
Ms. Leisha, you.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm excited about, and what I'm just going to add is that I'm thankful for several different people. Of course, we've had a couple of adults who've played some really significant roles. Mr. Sebitz is our gifted and talented coordinator at North, and runs our gifted and talented academy. He's the one who tasked the students, our 7th and 8th graders mostly, with preparing the event. And I tell you what, from the time that I challenged him to take it on, they have flown with it. And what I think is really exciting, and I think all of you should come and witness, is that it is very, very student directed. We've had some good input. One of their history teachers, he's helped them a lot, and he's helping them formulate their decades speeches. They're gonna be there to answer questions. We have tons of artifacts that we're gonna put in each of those rooms. Julia's grandma actually gave us one of these. It's a pin from 1937. It says, "Head Girl from North Junior." And we have scads of artifacts that are from the 1920s, mostly from the 1920s through the 1960s. So we'll display those things. The kids are working on a video that will be a compilation of all the interviews that they've done with all the past people that they mentioned. And I tell you, one of the things that I think they're learning more than anything, of course, is to put on a fairly large production, but also what it takes to pull that off. I was joking with Sophia that they've been working in my office and working through artifacts, stacks of artifacts, and I heard Sophia say, "Why is no one listening to my organizational system?" And I told her mom, like, she's just gonna be just like you. And so they're learning very much about what it takes to problem solve. We're thankful for D11 Media. They're alongside the kids as far as the video is concerned. They brought over equipment and are helping them edit and paring it down to about a 12-minute video that we'll play in the cafeteria. We're tie-dyeing North 100 t-shirts. So we're doing that out front. So I think it'll be an incredible celebration. And what I love most about it is that it is all them. So, thank you, and we hope you can come. There's invitations. Okay, with the greatness comes mistakes as well. So there's some spelling errors in there, but that's what comes. So just know we're going to live with those. Yes, we're going to live with those. So, thank you all.
Thank you. So that's the end of public comments. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. It's board member reports. Any reports by board members? Director Hafley, you are up first.
Okay, it's no secret that I am a former teacher of 30 years, history teacher, so I'm actually really looking forward to this North Junior High 100-year anniversary artifact extravaganza. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have been setting up my school visits, wanted to wait until after Labor Day to visit some of the schools because the beginning of school is so busy for people. I remember that. And I have been to a few schools already for open houses, meet and greets, and I was at Scott Elementary this morning, and I've been fortunate enough to meet with kids who want to tell me about the new cell phone policy. They want to talk about their phones, which isn't shocking. What I want to do is before I go on, I want to preface that when people are upset about the phone policy, I get it. I completely get it. But what I'd like people to understand and to think about is, at least in a high school, when you have 35 kids in a single classroom, and you have 35 different parents that want to send one emoji to their child, that is so nice that their parents are thinking of them, and kids feed off of that, and that's great, except not for the remainder of the classroom. There's 34 other kids plus a teacher, and then all the other 34 phones go off, and if their phones are turned off, the lights come on. And if the lights aren't going off, you can hear them dinging through the classroom. It's a cacophony of constant sounds from the cell phones, and it is distracting, and teachers were losing time teaching, and they were spending more time having to deal with classroom management when it came to the kids' cell phones. So while I can appreciate the people that are not happy with it, it's I would encourage you to look at from the other side. Kids are in school to learn, not necessarily text or get on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok or X or Instagram. What am I missing? I mean, there's a ton of things out there for them to steal their focus from what they're supposed to be doing in school, which is school. Okay, so I do want to say that I wanted to mention I've heard from a number of teachers thanking the board for the new cell phone policy. They report that kids are much more engaged in class. You've heard this all night. They're talking to their friends rather than being on their cell phones texting other people. They're talking to living, breathing humans sitting next to them, which is massively great. The result of that is that teachers are free to teach and students are free to learn. And speaking of the kids, they've told me that while they weren't thrilled about the policy initially, they can now, and I quote, breathe. They don't feel tied to their phones. They don't feel the need to check it constantly. And they're admitting that they're enjoying being able to talk to their friends. One young lady went on for a few minutes of how positive this has been for her. So I'm happy to hear that people are supporting the new policy and feeling some relief as a result of it. I want to thank everybody who's gotten in touch and shared their views candidly with me. I'm looking forward to being at the schools, meeting with the staff, engaging with the kids, and a whole lot more than this one, especially North Junior High, 100 years. Having a grandparent give her granddaughter something that she had from when she was a schoolgirl at North Junior High, that, for a history person, just touches my heart, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Director Ott.
Thank you. I wanted to bring everyone's attention to two things. One is the Rotary Club's Wings of Change. They're having their butterfly reveal, and the butterflies, when auctioned off, benefit some of their own programs, but also District 11 programs. So if you can check that out, it's Friday at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. down at the Pioneer Museum, and you can check out the amazing and beautiful artwork. In the past, some of our District 11 teachers have also designed some of the butterflies, so we can keep an eye out for that. The other thing, many of you know, elections are coming up. We're certainly aware of elections and their importance because we're elected. I'm going to take a little point of privilege. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters. We have a video contest coming up, and high schoolers from 16 on up to 23 for ages can submit a video and maybe win $1,000. So please, let's have a District 11 winner, and because I think we have talented kids here. So it only has to be a 30-second video, and there's more information at lwvppr.org on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other board report, I'll finish with my board member report. I will share with the community the main takeaway from last week's board retreat. A lot of you did not get to attend it, and it was it was at a different location outside the administrative building. The board had a robust discussion on the topic of board priorities for this academic year. Those priorities will essentially serve as our North Star and drive future decisions, including resource allocation. There was strong consensus on the overarching board priority, and that is to drive academic excellence with high expectations, ensure high quality instruction is delivered in every single classroom that will eventually guarantee student success and improved academic outcomes. Simply put, this board is committed to ensuring that every student is grade level proficient in reading, writing, and math. There is a lot to celebrate in the report that Superintendent Gall shared with the board earlier this evening on the state assessments. First, when you look at the district performance framework, which will be shared publicly in a few hours, the district was at 47.5% last year and has moved moved up nearly 4 points, a jump that was commended by the Colorado Department of Education as substantial for a district of our size. Several of our elementary schools posted strong scores both in academic growth and achievement. The district's internal projections show that 14 schools will have a school performance framework of 70 or higher, a number that could potentially earn these schools the accredited with distinction and performance rating. 2 years ago, we had 47% of our schools rated as performance schools. Today, the number has jumped up to nearly 70%. 2 years back, the number of schools on the state watch list was 15. Today, the number is down to potentially 3 schools. So we are growing the performance schools at the top while shrinking the schools on the state watch list at the bottom. The credit for those accomplishments falls squarely on our staff, the principals, the teachers, the ESP, area superintendents. All of you provide the necessary connection point to every single student and ensure in the delivery of high quality instruction to drive student success. So to our staff, you have the gratitude of this board as you care, educate, and ensure our students are thriving academically. Our promise is to support each of you through the best possible compensation and benefits and a work culture that is positive so as to promote employee retention and overall employee well-being. Anything that you may hear to the contrary is simply not true. I share that because over the past couple of days, I received a couple of messages from our staff saying the district was considering salary freezes and teacher cuts. Completely baseless rumors that is not substantiated by any facts, but it needlessly ends up spreading misinformation that causes anguish for some of our staff and gets them to feel discouraged. So here are the simple facts. Last year, when we adopted the budget, we made it a priority to preserve teaching positions at schools. Cuts were made at central administrations, not at schools. The focus this year, you heard, has been on the ABC policies, attendance behavior, and cell phones. Those were adopted to support our teachers, so teachers can focus on their job of teaching without unnecessary distractions. Earlier today, you heard about the Teacher Cadet program to help our teachers that may go into that pipeline, students that may go into that pipeline, again, a teacher support program. Over the past 3 years, we have adopted a budget with competitive staff compensation and benefits, increasing our starting teacher salary to $50,000, one of the highest in the region. So I'll share with you a small story from a recent school visit that I had at Palmer High School. I was there at the open house. I walked into a classroom and the teacher was sharing with the students and the parents out there an incident that happened in his life just 2 or 3 days back. Apparently the teacher was going on a bike ride and he suddenly felt a sharp sting on his face and a wasp or a bee bit him, and he did not know he was allergic, and he went into an anaphylactic shock and had to be resuscitated and rushed to the emergency room. And now he carries an EpiPen with him. But he shared in that report that he was sharing with the people in his classroom that thanks to the district health insurance policy, he had to only pay $10 for that EpiPen, while others in the room shared how expensive it was. With similar insurance plan, the teacher was thankful that he had to pay only $10 out of his pocket. A couple of weeks back, we also heard from some of our elementary school teachers about the lack of funding for the 4th and 5th grade DIBELS testing this year. It was an unintentional oversight. Superintendent Gall, when he found out about it, acted swiftly to restore that funding and support for our teachers. I'm sharing some of this information with our community so you are aware of the commitment of this board and the commitment of our administration to our staff. I cannot assure you that every single situation will be remedied to the satisfaction of our staff or concerned stakeholder, but what I can assure you is that every single board member here will listen respectively to your concerns and advocate for the classroom needs of our staff and students. This board is collectively committed to improving student outcomes. even though the state testing results showed several pockets of growth and progress, there is considerable work to be done to ensure every student is grade level proficient. To achieve that objective, we will continue to invest in our staff and ensure our resources are directed directly to the classrooms closest to our students. Those are the facts that I want to share with you in my board member report today. Thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, we have several consent items. Director Carey, can you please make the motion to adopt the consent items?
I move that the Board of Education adopts all consent items as designated in the agenda. The consent items are D2, personnel recommendations for September 4th, 2024. D3, Resolution 2025-03, Hispanic Heritage Month. D4, Resolution 2025-04, Authorized District Staff Legislative Liaisons. D5, approval of August 7th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. And D6, approval of August 14th, 2024 special meeting minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson? Aye. Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The consent items have been adopted as presented. Moving on to the first action item on the agenda today, it's a contract modification, and this is a modification to existing instructional empowerment contract. Director Ott, can you please make the motion for action item E1?
Yes. I move that the Board of Education approves the contract modification to Instructional Empowerment Incorporated, Contract 2023-0058, in the amount of $1,247,852.66. The period of performance for this contract modification runs from August 2024 through June 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Superintendent Gall, this is new information. I'm going to turn it over to you and your team.
Yeah, we're really excited tonight to modify the contract with Instructional Empowerment. I think you've heard a lot tonight about some language that we use on student agency. That really comes from our best first instruction model of how we marry the student, the teacher, and the content together. Last year, we had embarked on a relationship with Instructional Empowerment on 5 what we call intensive support schools. They are listed, they're not complete, they're Fremont, Audubon, West, Adams, and Galileo. And this year, what we're seeking to do is actually now accelerate what we can do with agency and not just turning around schools that were on the priority list, but how do we take agency to another level at schools that have shown that they can modify strategy very quickly based upon need. And so what we've done is we've married instructional empowerment with our executive principal schools, which I'm going to try and recite them by memory, are Freedom, are Madison, and Queen Palmer, Rudy, and Jackson. And then we also added to this contract modification this methodology that we have of no longer thinking that the only way to school improvement and student outcomes is singularly through the principal. And so we've also added to this contract a specific accelerated cohort relationship to our secondary math, because we have strong structures in place already in math, and specifically to our visual and performing arts at the secondary level. We have the strongest visual and performing arts in the county, and it's time for us to cash in on that. So if a student, I'm going to go on this soliloquy for just a moment here, if a student can recite lines from Shakespeare in a play, dressed up in a tutu in front of their peers, and do that night after night, and see that as a place where they want to invest themselves, why is it that they can't then read the text of Shakespeare in a literature class and understand what the meaning is? We have to be able to bridge what our students are demonstrating, which is why we lead off every board meeting with our visual and performing arts, to show that visual and performing arts, and really any experience, can be the activation to what brings a student to their learning. And so we really think this combination of not just school-based relationships to bring agency into the classroom, but functional relationships, And there's nothing wrong with all our visual and performing arts leaders getting together to talk about how students are or aren't engaged in their academic experience while they're a part of this. So I'm going to hand it over to Nicole to then go through some of the slides. But this is an extension of a strategy that has worked for the district that we want to now bring to bear this year to accelerate our desire for all our students to be engaged in their learning. Nicole? Yeah, it's coming.
Good evening, board. Thank you. I'll be pretty brief here because the superintendent went over a lot of this, but in partnership in developing student agency with instructional empowerment, we're getting teaming to students, which is increasing the frequency and duration in class periods that students are really grappling with the learning and the concepts. As the superintendent stated, there are 3 efforts. One of them is ongoing from the 23-24 school year, where those initial 5 schools invested in year 1 last year, and they're continuing on in year 2 this year. The second one is the accelerated agency cohort, which is the 5 elementary schools he mentioned and the 2 programs. And then the third effort is district-wide foundation setting, where educators across the system are getting foundational PD. In just a moment, I'll invite Dr. Fry up here to talk a little bit more about that accelerated agency cohort, as she's taking a lot of lead in that and working with schools. But also just naming that this contract is all possible because we had cost savings from the estimated cost of Summer Bridge and ESSER funding. And so when that came in below cost projections, we had funds to reutilize. The Colorado Department of Education asked districts, when you have ESSER funds that are unexpended toward the end of the use, we want you to go back and look at strategies that you've used previously that have proven success and then allocate funding toward that. So when we went back and did a deep dive of what's worked well in the ESSER funding so far, we came to this instructional empowerment piece and we're able to reallocate those funds to be able to be spent and allotted through ESSER dollars toward the tail end of the use of those. So I'll invite Dr. Fry up.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm here to speak a little bit to the accelerated agency cohort that Ms. Ottmer just mentioned and sort of the shift in where we were and where we are headed now. So again, like she mentioned, we've had that foundational year in our intensive support schools over the past year. And what we're looking to do now is really think about building our own lab classrooms, right? What would it look like if we could use our own talent, which we know is doing exceptional things in the classroom, to catalyze our teachers who need to see it in action? We know for adult learning that it's very beneficial when they have those opportunities. And so I support our 5 principals in those accelerated agency schools. And already what I can tell you, even 3 weeks into the school year, is there are countless success stories that I could already speak to. I spoke to 2 principals today and immediately was just inundated with, oh, do you want to see a picture of how it looks in a 1st grade classroom? I can show you what it looks like in a 5th grade classroom. I walked around with my area superintendent and saw one of the best lessons of the year just 2 days ago in a classroom. And so I think what we're seeing is just that kid energy, right? We're seeing kids up, engaged in the work, excited about sharing their learning with their peers, and how we hope to connect that to kind of the broader strategy of really no classroom left behind, is that the other hat that I wear is supporting our 260, I believe now, new to District 11 teachers, right? And so how do we take those folks who are new to us and connect them to our incredible resources internally? So I just finished my 232nd classroom visit this afternoon in the last 3 weeks, and we're already building a network to take those people into our accelerated agency schools and really give them the opportunity to see best practice in action. Thank you.
I think we're ready for the contract folks to take over. Thanks. Did we recognize Christy? Can somebody please introduce Christy? Christy, you want to come forward? Rosa, let Christy come forward just a second.
I will, of course.
Great, thank you.
Hello, it's an honor. I am the representative from Instructional Empowerment. I'm the district lead, so I'm the point person for our partnership. Happy to be here.
And we're working on the accent.
I'm from Texas, sorry. Thank you, Superintendent. I'm talking to the microphone. Thank you, Superintendent Gall, and thank you, Nicole. At this time, before I start my presentation, I would like to thank Ms. McKinney for being here and also acknowledge Julie Torres, who is the Procurement Contracting Officer for this effort. Okay. Again, tonight I bring to you a contract modification that if approved will provide the services that were highlighted by Chief Otmer and were actually showed how successful they were by Dr. Fry. Okay. The justification process was based on instructional empowerment's demonstrated approach with proven outcomes. Instructional empowerment has experience and expertise in delivering growth in student achievement through student agency. The pricing is the extension of the current contract that is in place right now. Past performance has proven track record at the 11, as demonstrated by Ms. Chief Otmer's presentation. Okay. I would like to highlight some of the best value trade-offs. IE has demonstrated track record of providing leadership coaching to achieve student outcomes. Compared to similar organizations used by the district, the in-person daily rates are at or below the other organizations. Past project performance demonstrates outcomes for student growth. Okay. Period of performance for this contract modification will started August 2024 and will end June 20 of 25. Total cost for this effort is $1,247,852.66. The funding is being provided by ESSER 3, which was approved by CDE. All standard terms and conditions of the original contract will remain unchanged. Okay. I will highlight some of the desired outcomes, which are increasing student performance, both growth and achievement, enhancing core instruction, decreasing student behavior referrals. Some of the strategies is to provide coaching, training for schools to become lab models for the district and the country. I would also like to highlight some of the return on the investments that align to the board priorities, such as student success, increasing student engagement, staff investment, leaders increased staff efficacy, future vision, lab classroom models to support diffusion, and student agency and team models. At this time, I would like to turn it over to the board for any questions.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here too. Board members' comments or questions on the contract? Director Jurgensen.
I'm just happy that we were able to be wise with that last bit of ESSER money, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Duly noted. Any other? Director Bankus.
So the support that they're receiving, does this impact professional development at all?
Would you like to answer that?
Yes, this is a key
does.
part of our delivery to schools. So go on the slide that talked about the 3 different delivery models. Our intensive support schools have already had a year of very heavy in-building PD from instructional empowerment. Our accelerated agency stepped into that space this year, and then our district-wide has been some of the offerings that the district offers in creating agency opportunities for what we call the schools not intensively engaged with instructional empowerment. The goal here is it's teach a man to fish model, that we are now learning these skills, and it's very hard to use your turnaround schools as the structure and model of how you want to improve already higher performing schools. And so the idea of bringing in higher or average performing schools with proven leaders, the strength here, and I want to call Dr. Fry out for it, because it was her vision that said, you have 5 leaders that we treat as executive principals who we go to pilot ideas and to test initiatives. Bringing this to their schools means that we don't have to spend 6 months on I don't understand why we're trying to bring student agency. If the kids would just do what I told them to do, then I wouldn't have this problem. And I don't mean that anybody actually said that, but we don't have to deal with the change piece when we go into the places where we are already strong. And then the goal here is it'll take us 1.5 years or 2 years. But then for agency to be is what happens for every one of our students in every one of our schools. But to get it to scale, we have to put it in a place where we know it will succeed. Our intensive support schools, 3 of them are off the list 2 of them are still on the list. So I can't say that instructional empowerment, if you partner with them, you're automatically off the list, because it's just not that easy, particularly in our turnaround school. The 2 schools that didn't come off the list had significant leadership changes at the end of last year because they weren't all in on the strategies that the district was providing. And so yes, this is directly connected to the professional development, and these schools will mostly be getting them in school, and as part of district PD days, they're pulled out in a special cohort. And I want to acknowledge Tamara Acevedo's work in that, in bringing the very niche position here into the whole. We have to be able to get the tiny things we need and service the whole at the same time. It's the challenge with differentiated PD. Where does differentiation stop? This is where we are right now at a 3-tier system of continuing down what has been major improvement strategy number 1, best first instruction, and now we've added student agency as part of the engagement strategies of MIS2. So you'll see that all as the UDIP and as the USIPs come forward in the next couple of weeks from our remaining schools. But the contract needs to be approved first before I can formally put it in a UDIP.
Dr. Nelson.
So I remember last spring you presenting on a team going up and exploring what United does with kind of having an internal school of this is how we expect our employees to function and operate. Is this sort of the beginnings of creating that system within District 11?
I would say it's a yes and. I could tell you that anecdotally, for those who attended new teacher orientation this year, that was rebuilt off of that United model, which is we have a whole bunch of things we have to do with new teachers. But it ought to be a hell of a celebration to say, hey, I'm in District 11. Not just the perfunctory requirements of here's your login, here's how you do this, here's how you get into Power School. What's happening here and what you'll see with the lab classrooms is teachers coaching teachers, lab classrooms. How do we take from within what works to help solve the places where we're still challenged? The whack-a-mole game of just, if you do the math here on 7, 9, 10 schools and the amount of money that is, you'll be bankrupt if you think every teacher can get access to the incredible services and supports that instructional empowerment and our UVA impact team get in those spaces. So we have to get to a place where we learn that ourselves, but what we learned on that United model was nothing is left to chance. You cannot leave to chance whether or not the qualification of the crew is going to meet the safety standard of the company. And what we're doing is replacing the language that you cannot leave to chance that student success isn't met by our ability to deliver the strategies of the district. So there's a yes and in there.
Yeah, that's great. Very exciting work. Thank you, guys. I'm excited to see what you come out with.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, keep us posted, Superintendent Gall, on the progress on this, and especially if there is a plan to have this type of coaching and support passed this year, what the plan regarding that is. With that, roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The contract modification was approved by the board as presented. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, contract award. This is the contracted student transportation services for Evergreen Technologies LLC. Director Hafley, can you please make the motion for action item E2?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education approves contract C 2024-1032 to EverDriven Technologies LLC in the estimated total contract amount of $2,125,000. The estimated total contract amount is subject to annual funding availability. The performance period is July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029, if fully executed.
Moved and seconded. This information was presented to the board during the August 21st work session. Superintendent Gall, do you have any additional information for the board?
We do not, and the contracting team is here to answer any questions.
Okay, board, this was discussed and questions were asked a couple of weeks back at the work session. Do you have any follow-up questions at this point in time before I call roll call? Okay, seeing none, roll call please, Melissa.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey? Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
Director Carey just stepped out, so, but the contract award to Evergreen Technologies was approved by the board. The next item on the agenda is again a contract award. This is similar to the previous one. It's again contracted students of transportation services, and this one is to First Student Inc. And Director Jorgensen, can you please make the motion for action item E3?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education approves contract C 2024-1033 to First Student Inc. in the estimated total contract amount of $1 million. Sorry, I apologize, there's a typo here. $1 million even. Is that accurate, President Malpacum?
That's what it says. Is it 1 million?
1 million.
Okay, 1
Yeah,
million.
there's a period there, so I wanted to make sure. The estimated total contract amount is subject to annual funding availability. The performance period is July 1st, 2024 through July 30th, 2029 if fully executed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote again. Questions on this one? This is the same as the previous one, and it was presented at the work session 2 weeks back. Director Nelson, you had question? Okay. Seeing no questions from the board, roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The contract award to First Student Inc. was approved by the board in the amount of $1 million. The next item on the agenda is again another contract award, contracted student transportation services. This one is for hop, skip, and drive. Director Nelson, can you please make the motion for action item E4?
I move that the Board of Education approves contract C2024-1029 to Hop Skip Drive in an estimated total contract amount of $2,125,000. The estimated total contract amount is subject to annual funding availability. The performance period is July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2029 if fully executed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, no questions from the board on this. This is similarly was presented at the work session 2 weeks back. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The contract award to Hop, Skip, and Drive in the amount of $2,125,000 was approved by the board. Thank you, all of you from the contracting departments that are present here. The next item on the agenda today is Urban Renewal Authority project, Bristow-Lowell, and there is a couple of Urban Renewal Authority projects and the OneVeLa plan. Director Bankus, can you please make the motion first for action item E5?
I move that the Board of Education approves Resolution 2025-04, Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority Property Tax Increment Revenue Agreement for the Bristow-Lowell Urban Renewal Plan, and authorizes the Executive Director of Procurement to execute the Property Tax Increment Revenue Agreement effective September 5, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, to the board and also the community that is watching, this information was presented to the board at the August 21st work session, and the board had a robust discussion at this point in time. Superintendent Gall, I believe we have Dr. Comfort is going to be presenting something to the board at this point in time.
Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Comfort.
So let's start with that. There are several people out here. Dr. Brandon Comfort is here. He's going to give a brief presentation to provide additional clarity. Let's start with this. We also have District Legal Counsel Deb Menkins out here, and our external stakeholders associated with this project are also present in the audience to answer questions. But we'll start with Dr. Comfort first.
Hi, good evening, Board. I want to take a few minutes to just expand on our work session discussion a little bit about TIF financing. Obviously, Mr. Walker is here with URA to answer any technical questions. You saw this chart when we met during work session. If you remember, the color palette was very exciting to people. I did build some additional slides just to help articulate a little bit more clearly how TIF or tax increment financing works. So my first slide here, this is basically a blighted area without any redevelopment. Now that redevelopment might come through a URA or it might come through other means. But if there is no redevelopment, that baseline assessed value and therefore the revenue the district gets remains pretty consistent. Now you'll see I did change it a little bit. There might be a slight uptick because of increase in property values, but there's no significant change to the development of that area, and then therefore the property value, and therefore the revenue to the district. Okay? So then we would enter into, in this discussion, a tax increment financing. You'll still see that yellow area there. That is the taxes and the revenue that the district would get regardless. And you'll see that new blue square. And so this is, if my animation works, there it is, that is the area that we would get through redevelopment, and through a URA project or through TIF financing, that is deferred for the redevelopment, and that is the amount that is refunded through the School Finance Act. So remember, we have no risk in terms of our funding. I also want to articulate, in fact, we benefit from any type of redevelopment. If there is no redevelopment, we go back to this. You'll see again that blue square is what we get refunded through the School Finance Act. And then eventually, at the end of the TIF, we're in that future assessed value state in which the district collects all taxes again. So I hope that adds a little bit of clarity. This is the same for all URA projects. So for tonight, Bristow-Lowell or the OneVeLa project, I just wanted to kind of expand on that blue square a little bit. That if there is no redevelopment, either through URA or other means, that doesn't come to the district in any way. Are there any questions about that that I can answer before I turn it over to Mr. Walker?
Director Carey.
I just want to ask some questions, just kind of for the record more than anything else. I just want you to kind of state again, the blue triangle that you've drawn here, that money is refunded to us by the state, the School Finance Act, correct?
It is, correct.
Does the district spend any of our own money financing this project in any way?
We do not.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, thank you, Dr. Comfort. Like I said, the District Legal Counsel is also here, and Ms. Deb Menkins represents the interest of District 11 in this. So if the board has any clarifying questions to Ms. Menkins, she's here to answer that on behalf of the board. Director Ott.
Given that we're considering two of these contracts tonight, I'm just this thought came to me at the work session and I didn't ask it, and tonight's a great opportunity. What if we voted no? What would maybe be next steps for the Renewal Authority or the contractors or?
Well, under Colorado State Statute, specifically Section 31-25-17, if a school district votes no on the sharing of incremental tax revenues generated by urban renewal, there is a specific process that applies. The parties would be required to participate in a mandatory mediation process, the parties being School District 11 and the Urban Renewal Authority. Payment of the fees and costs of the mediation would be split equally between the parties. The mediation process is actually more formal than it sounds. It actually looks more like an arbitration process, from what I understand. So both parties would likely be represented by attorneys. Witnesses would be called to testify. Exhibits would be offered. Within 90 days, the mediators and the parties select one mediator. If they can't agree, each party selects one mediator, and the two mediators select a third mediator. But the mediators are required to issue a decision or findings of fact after 90 days. And I have not researched the mediation decisions. I don't even know if they're publicly available. But I'm aware of at least one case where a school district voted no, and they participated in the mediation process with the Urban Renewal Authority, and I don't know that it was the Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority. I don't think so. But the mediation panel ruled in favor of the Urban Renewal Authority on the basis that voting yes would not have negatively impacted the school district because the state backfills the loss of incremental tax revenues. So, and that decision, I believe, is binding, and so that's essentially the process in a nutshell.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you asked that question. A couple of other people, even community members, have asked me the same question. I'm glad that we were able to share that information. So all this is required, mandated by state statutes. It's nothing that we control on our side.
No. The parties, the Urban Renewal Authority and the school district are required to reach an agreement on the issue. And if an agreement isn't reached, then this process does kick in, and it is required.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions to Ms. Menkins?
Can you just state the statute one more time?
Yes, it's CRS Section 31-25-107. And it's a long statute, and I'm trying to, I think it's paren 9.5. Paren C and D.
Are you good, Director Carey? Good. Any other questions to Ms. Menkins at this time? I don't see any other questions. Thank you, Ms. Menkins. So a couple other feedback that I want to share with the community and our board too. One of the feedback that I have heard from some of the staff is this, that District 11 is now getting into the affordable and attainable housing business. That is not true. The URA is a city entity, and this is a project that is coming through the city. URA, if I get any of this wrong, Mr. Walker is here to correct me, but this is to cure blighted areas in our city and promote that public-private partnerships and investments. So this is not a District 11 getting into the housing business in any way, shape, or form. But since this project is within our district boundaries, School District 11 is one of the taxing entities, and by state statutes, the URA and the project partner in this, they are required to approach the taxing entity, which is the school district, to consider this TIF agreement, which is tax increment financing. The scope of the school board in this vote is to just consider the finance arrangement and not the other aspects of the project. There are other city entities, such as the Planning Commission, City Council, and those bodies will consider zoning regulations, impact to surrounding neighborhoods, the nature and the size of the project itself, and compliance to city codes, all of that. So I request our community to stay engaged in those conversations and provide feedback at those appropriate venues. Our scope, again, is consider the finance arrangement, and Dr. Comfort's report on the impact to the district in that regard was that there is no financial risk associated with it, and that's what the board heard on that. Secondly, I do want to clarify to the board and the community my role on the Urban Renewal Authority. there was some confusion pertaining to that, and that pertains to me, especially since we have 2 new board members since last November. I should have stepped forward and provided this information right at that work session. But I do serve as the school board representative on the Board of Commissioners for the Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority. That is required under state law. Under state law, the Board of Commissioners for the URA must include 1 elected school board member belonging to a school district in that area. In addition, state law also requires 1 county commissioner and 1 city council member to serve on the URA board. So my role on the URA board as one of the commissioners is to represent the interest of District 11 and other school districts in that area. Mr. Jim Mason was the previous D11 school board representative on the URA. When Mr. Mason's term on the school board ended in 2021, the D11 school board at that time agreed that I should fill that vacancy. My role again on the URA Board of Commissioners is to advocate and represent the best interest of all school districts in this area. I do not personally benefit from my role on the Urban Renewal Authority as serving in that role as a commissioner on that board, including from any of this proposed urban renewal projects that are currently in front of the Board of Education. My service on the URA board is an extension of my service on the D11 board. I did consult with our legal counsel, Ms. Deb Menkins, and also the county commissioner who serves on the URA board and the city council member. All agreed there is no conflict of interest. So as far as I am aware, all school board members, county commissioners, or city council members who previously served on this URA board or serving currently on the Board of Commissioners have participated in the voting on any urban renewal question brought before the school board, the county commission, or the city council in which they sit. So hopefully that provided clarity for you. And with that guidance from legal counsel, I intend to participate in the current vote tonight. Any other questions or comments from board members before I call roll call? Roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The resolution approving the TIF agreement between the school district and the Urban Renewal Authority for the Bristow-Lowell Urban Renewal Plan has been approved by the school board. Moving on to the next item, it's the same thing, Urban Renewal Authority projects. This is the OneVeLa plan. Director Carey, can you please make the motion for action item E6?
I move that the Board of Education approves Resolution 2025-05, Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority Property Tax Increment Revenue Agreement for the OneVeLa Urban Renewal Plan, and authorizes the Executive Director of Procurement to execute the Property Tax Increment Revenue Agreement effective September 5th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, all the information pertaining to the Urban Renewal project was already presented to the board. Do you have any additional question on this plan, OneVeLa plan? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Director Banker stepped out.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The again, the TIF agreement between the school board and between the district and the Urban Renewal Authority for the OneVeLa plan was approved by the school board. So thank you. Thank you for all of you. Yeah, Mr. Walker, please approach.
Item, thank you, Board. Jariah Walker, Executive Director with the Colorado Springs Urban Renewal Authority. The only other item I just want to draw attention to, it should be in the packet, but is also the amendment to the Southwest Plan for the OneVeLa project. So that's one other vote that we would need as well tonight.
I think that
unless you lumped them both in together.
I think that was bumped both into together. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure it was on the
Yeah,
record. Yep.
It was.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. So thank you for all the stakeholders that were present up here too, and we look forward to this partnership. Moving on to the non-action item on the agenda today. The first item is the Unified School Improvement Plan. This information comes in front of the board annually for review. Superintendent Gall, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, Dr. Colicky, we can't tell you what schools, we just got to tell you we're going to bring some schools because it's embargoed yet, but I can't do it until you say you're ready for us to do it. So this is kind of an administrative piece. David?
Yeah, just to give you a feel for what's coming up next. So basically, for our constituents, the unified school. So there's two different types of unified improvement plans that the Colorado Department of Education collects from us. Those are collected by October 15th on an online portal. The first one is a school improvement plan. So we sometimes refer to that as the USIP, Unified School Improvement Plan. Those will be coming at the work session next week, September 11th. And those are required. Those that are required are those that are on turnaround or priority improvement, which you will find out soon enough. The second type is the district improvement plan, which looks at the district as a whole, related to our performance as it ties to strategy, and that will also be presented at the work session next week. We will be highlighting particular strategies, particular tactics that we'll be doing with our major improvement strategies, both 1 and 2. So kind of instruction and then community engagement and family engagement. So this is a requirement through the CDE that the board hears from the schools, the turnaround and priority improvement schools, and then the entire district improvement plan. And after you hear it and get feedback and give feedback, that feedback will be incorporated, and then it comes before you at the October meeting for action before submission in the middle of October. There's also a DAC review requirement, which is where the District Accountability Committee, the subcommittee does that work. So the subcommittee for accreditation is currently reviewing the school improvement plans, and we'll be reviewing the district improvement plan next week as it's coming kind of in parallel with your work. Both of those will come together to incorporate that feedback before submission. So DAC will provide for you their overall recommendations. You'll be able to see their feedback, but they'll provide their recommendations for the plans that will inform your decision making as much as you want. We are absolutely committed to incorporating that feedback as much as possible. It's been a really good partnership, and it's been very helpful for us. And I want to echo the same sentiment with your feedback and your insights. So just for your information, the school improvement plans and the district improvement plan will be presented to the board for a comprehensive review at the work session on September 11th. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kalki. So to the board, for your awareness, since we moved to this current format of one board meeting a month, some of these items are coming at this point in time. So it is in the pipeline for the October board meeting, and this has to be submitted by the October 15th deadline, right? Yeah, so by the October 15th deadline. So that's why it's coming in this order. So at the next work session, which is going to be on September 11th, the board will delve into the CMAS state testing data, some of the 30,000 feet level information that Superintendent Gall shared. That will be, we will get an in-depth analysis of that along with the school improvement reports for the schools that fall under the priority improvement and turnaround category. So, Dr. Comfort, can you come? It is my understanding that the board has to approve another motion for one of the URA project. Can you provide some clarity on that? I think that's what Mr. Walker was talking about.
He was alluding to that. I apologize. We thought it was lumped in with the second resolution. It's still a standalone. And so the OneVeLa project was part of an existing or an earlier URA. Now this is replacing that, I'm sorry. So the board does need to vote to officially remove it from one and now add it to this one. I apologize. We did think it was in the second resolution number.
So that requires another motion at this point in time?
It does.
So, Ms. Olson, so a board member can make a motion at this point in time? Okay, great. Director Hifley, can you make the motion that is there on that piece of paper?
Yes, I move that the board approve the removal of OneVeLa area from the southwest.
Second.
Southwest downtown. No. Southwest downtown urban renewal plan.
Second.
That's the motion. I need a second.
Julie seconded it.
I seconded halfway
Okay,
through and at
great.
the end, I think. Yeah.
Okay, moved and seconded.
I'll second.
Again, the motion that is on the floor is the board approve the removal of OneVeLa area from the southwest downtown urban renewal plan. Is there anything that the board needs to know in this regard? Mr. Walker, is there anything we need to know? Okay, okay. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Director Bankus is stepped out.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The board approved the removal of OneVeLa area from the southwest downtown urban renewal plan. Sorry for the confusion out there, but we took care of it. Going back to the rest of the items on the agenda and the non-action items, there are several District Accountability Committee membership and charges. So the second one is District Accountability Committee membership, DAC membership and charges. We have the accreditation, budget, mill levy, override, district personnel performance, evaluation advisory council membership and charges. Superintendent Gall.
Chief Ottmer. To move it to action.
It's going to move to action. No, yeah, it's not going to move to consent. It's going to move to action in the October meeting, but we get all the necessary information at next week's board meeting. No. Okay.
You're getting it whether you want it or not next week.
Ms. Ottmer.
Awesome. All right, good evening, board. So the committee charges that Dr. Malpacum just mentioned will all be brought to the September 18th work session, as we've discussed previously. In each individual item, you will see the 23-24 charges uploaded right now, because we can work from those to build the charges for 24-25, which we will do together in a work session with all of the committee chairs on September 18th. As Dr. Malpacum mentioned on the other item, we're bringing this non-action now because it would go action on October 2nd after we've had that work session in between. We will also approve membership at that time for all of the board committees as well. The only one in the charges that has 24-25 charges already within it is the very last committee, which is the I'm blanking on the name, benefits, the Benefits Insurance Committee. That committee, because it is no longer self-funded, the health insurance plan is going to have less frequent meetings because they don't have as much work to do, given that there's a new provider in place there. So you will see those charges. We can still discuss that on September 18th at the board's will as well.
Okay, thank you. So again, to the board, there is nothing for discussion at this point in time. As a reference material, you have the previous year's charges and membership, and we will have a thorough discussion on this subject matter at the September 18th work session. Directors Nelson and Art are also working with the committee chairs to bring a recommendation to the board at that point in time. Thank you. So this will again come at the September 18th work session, and then final approval at the October 2nd board meeting. So that's all the rest of the non-action items that are listed from 2 to 7 under non-action items. Future agenda items and tasks. Board members. Director Nelson.
At the retreat, I requested that the board have a conversation about priorities for helping to build next year's budget, and that we would like to start a little earlier and get ahead and just try to be more strategic and intentional, and just looking at timing with the state requirement to get feedback from the DAC on that. I'm realizing if it's possible, could we slot that conversation for sometime in September so that then we could go to the DAC and to their meeting in October to get the feedback of on what the board has kind of laid out, you know, if we have any holes or anything, and then to still be able to have us ideally be able to work towards some things in October of beginning to think about next year's budget. So just a request for you and Director Hafley, as you're looking at future agendas, if you could squeeze in a little time to have that conversation a little earlier than what I had originally requested. So there's that. I don't know, do you need thumbs on that?
What is that?
Do you need thumbs on that? I don't know.
So you're talking about the budget priorities for next year and board guidance on that.
If it could come a little earlier so that we can have time to get DAC feedback.
Yeah, we can certainly take thumbs on it. And as far as scheduling it in September, we will go over the schedule as we sit with Superintendent Gall and see where we can slot it, whether it can be slotted. Right now, at least, the 11th and the 18th work sessions are right now taken by agenda items that are on the agenda. Maybe that is still possible. How much time do you need for this conversation?
30 minutes?
Okay.
But I feel like that's probably grossly underestimated, just knowing how we are.
We will discuss it while agenda setting and see if we can do it late September or early October.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thumbs up on that conversation from the board. Okay. We do have thumbs up. Ms. Olson, you noted that down. Ms. Artmer, you noted that down too. We can talk about it tomorrow when we meet with Superintendent Gall.
And I have one more thing.
Sure.
Just after looking over the document we had at the retreat with our priorities that came out of the June retreat, I'm not seeing operationalizing the parent partnership policy in there, and I'm pretty sure we had discussed that. Maybe it was in the January one, I'm not sure. But so just wondering, could we put it maybe in the on-ramp work section, and whether it's a report on how that's going, or just if we need to give guidance on priorities in that policy where we would like admin to focus. I remember us having conversations about it, but I'm not seeing it, and maybe it's there and I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, Ms. Artmer is here. Was it there?
Well, I think the language got updated to in that little section in the engaged community that says graduated levels of accountability for board, parents, staff, and teacher. I think that's where that piece was intended to be captured, but if it's not clear enough, we could definitely change language.
Okay, that'd be great, yeah, just so we could tie it to that policy. Thank you. Do you need thumbs or? We're good?
No,
Okay.
I think she got it.
Okay,
and
thanks.
it's already there. It's
Yeah.
just worded differently out there.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. Director Art.
Thank you. I had emailed the board about some CASB recommended policy updates, and I just wanted to see if we as a board need to revisit our own policy or have an update from the superintendent on whether there is a plan for policy updates coming from staff, and if we need to clarify the process and how we can to make sure that is moving forward efficiently.
Okay. So thank you. What Director Art is referring to is usually every year there is some new bills and state law that comes along with those new bills, and those state laws requires revising or updating our current policies. Is that what you're referring to, Director Art?
That's definitely probably 95% of it, yes.
Okay. So one of the things that I can say is that September 18th, when we have that work session, because we are looking at all committees, we can talk about policies too and clarify the process that we as a school board and also the district is going to follow going forth regarding policy revision and adoption. So there is some confusion regarding that. And then we can have Dr. X during that work session as well to provide some clarity on how this is going to take place. My understanding is when it is mandated by the state law, each policy has a point of contact within the district, and they would bring it to the attention of the board that these revisions are necessary. But we can get that clarity from Superintendent Gall and also his team, and we can have a discussion about it if that will answer what you brought up right now, Director Art.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had one other thing
Yeah,
too.
but Superintendent Gall, are you?
We can support that.
Okay, great. Okay. Board, are you comfortable with that to provide some clarity on how we are going to revise, adopt policies based on statute? Okay, great. Go ahead, Director.
The second thing, as part of that CASB update, it referenced that districts as local education providers are supposed to review their education standards to ensure they meet or exceed the state's standards. And if they don't, for example, there might be a change in curricula. So I don't know that we've done that ourselves, and it might be just something that happened within administration and we just don't know about it, or I might have missed it if it happened. So, and I'll also preface with saying, I know we've updated a lot of curriculum over the last couple of years. So I just wanted to see if that had officially been accomplished, and if not, if we were on track to complete such a review.
Superintendent Gall.
I'm going to answer as Tamara comes forward that I believe our practice is any curriculum that we adopt has to be standards aligned with the state. So to do that review would be to reaffirm the process that we already go through. But Tamara, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think we can get the exact language and tie to what you're talking about, but the process for curriculum review is aligned to the Colorado academic standards, aligned to national standards, and those are the standards by which the district does any of its work instructionally.
Okay, thanks. The thing that drew my attention to it was that it was supposed to happen every 6 years. It was very specific in state statute. It was like, whoa, that did not sound familiar. And 2023 would have, in theory, been the review year. So
we'll research the statute or the policy to make sure that we're in compliance with CDE. If it is a 6-year memo that we have to send around that says we are in compliance, we'll get back to the board on that.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Jurgensen.
Just to add to Director Ott's point on some policy updates, I wonder if with the board taking on a more active role in policy development and revisions, if we wanted to earmark for that same evening a discussion about policy, maybe blocks of policy to update, to clean up. I've spoken with Mr. X and actually with Director Bankus about using some software that we have available to scan through things, consolidate things, update them, try to clean up some of those over 500 policies we have if we can. So might be part of the discussion that night
Yeah,
to add to
that,
it, please.
that would be ideal time to have that discussion.
Okay,
too.
thank you.
Is the board getting a thumbs up on that? Okay. Thank you. Seeing no further agenda item request. Moving on to the calendar review, we have September 11th work session, and as you know, we are going to be talking about the testing data and the school improvement plans and the district improvement plan. September 18th discussion is on committees, including policy work. September 25th right now is optional special meeting or work session. I'm not sure if anything else is on the agenda, but we can certainly consider some of the items that were brought to the table today. Seeing no further business, if there are no objections, this meeting will adjourn at 8:07 p.m.